Welcome to my podcast. My name is Mary, and this is where I share my thoughts with you, sometimes from my own experience and sometimes strengthened by the knowledge I've gained in my experiment with human design. For me, to let go in practice is to transform my life force into creativity. If, as a listener, you can pick up something from this or take it into your own life, you are most welcome to do so. If you would like to enter the experiment of human design yourself, or you're looking for a coach, please go to my website and contact me. Maybe I can guide you in the journey towards yourself. You'll find the link in the show notes. But for now, I wish you lots of inspiration and insights with this new episode. Enjoy the ride. Back to school. Today I had the child-parent talk at my children's elementary school. As a mother of identical twins of 11, I have often wondered what on earth the significance of these meetings is. Every time we as parents are asked to schedule a meeting, and we're also asked to prepare the meeting together with our children. A conversation in which a number of questions are suggested that then need to be answered. Each time I go there with the idea that it will be a conversation that is actually something that matters, and each time I'm disappointed. And I realize that this is my own issue, and yet. Very often in my work life I've said that we should go from finches to sparks. And then it wasn't a nice smooth one-liner for me, but then I wanted to actually accomplish that with those who could actually mean it. Sparks in the sense of thinking outside the box, doing and experiencing things differently, and that if you only could explain things, what you wanted or planned, from an awareness of something. I have always found it a challenge not to stay within the framework, but rather to go beyond it. Because very often frameworks and the standardization of things did not fit the purpose for which they were created. And from that perspective, I had chosen a completely different approach for this conversation. I had suggested to my girls that I would like to send the teacher a video based on their design, and thus how they are put together as human beings of flesh and blood, and how they can flourish or continue to flourish as human beings at school. I discussed this with both my daughters, and they thought it was a very nice and beautiful idea, and were curious about my analyses themselves. A 12-minute video I showed to my children, and I got back from them that this was so cool because this was exactly how they felt, and also that this is how they always experience this at home, and that it makes them so happy. This is how we went to school, wondering what the teachers would think of it, and if they would ask questions as a result. The result? They had seen it, it was beautiful, and then they were eager to spend the next 10 minutes going over the question they had presented with the children. And that was it. I felt a total frustration rising within myself, and I was actually just plain sick of it too. Not because my work was not appreciated, not because there was no further discussion about it, but because it was just another ticking off the list, the pattern that has to be followed, and that was the end of it. And I try with all the possibilities in me not to have a judgment about this, but of course I do. If we ever want to appreciate that we are diverse as people and really embrace inclusiveness, that we are here to complement each other, and that we're all different, regardless of what color, race, identity, or orientation. It starts with letting go of the system that tempts us to have to be all the same, that we may and can move as unique individuals in a world where there is room for being different and doing different. Because we are all different. We are spectators of the life that is unfolded before us. Passengers in a wonderfully put together body. And we try to keep and gain control over it in many ways, but we have no control over it, no matter how hard we try, in whatever systems we may have devised to do that. Our mind is the great disruptor in that we think we know. But it's the other way around. We know that we think. We have an inner knowing, a knowing that comes through us unconsciously and consciously. Whoa, how wonderful it would be if more people could be a little more aware of that, for ourselves, but especially for our children. I check with myself where I have not acted correctly here, and where I have followed my mind. Because frustration, in my case as a manifesting generator, is a signpost of not self. I did this in response to the request to prepare for the child-parent meeting. But maybe I should have waited a little longer. Maybe that's it. Nice to reflect on for a moment or two. Thank you for listening to this episode. I hope you will join me next time for new insights and stories. And if you like this and want to follow me, subscribe to my podcast or share it with others or on your socials. I would highly appreciate that. Background music by Robin Melwijk. Text Mary, marykcoaching.nl.